Hi, everybody, and welcome to Heel Heat. My name is George Coles, and this one's going to be different. First, I'm going to let this play out. Normally, I cut out silence on my videos to make them run more smooth, but I want you to feel everything I'm going to say in this video. And I want you to feel the pauses, the dramatic stops that are going to happen, because they are going to happen. I don't have anything at all written for this. It's kind of something that blindsided me today. And you probably know by clicking on the thumbnail. One of, in my opinion, the most influential and, in my honest opinion, one of the best wrestlers I've ever seen, Sabu, passed away today. And this is hard. Sabu has long been one of my favorite wrestlers over 30 years now. He's a guy from the first time I seen him, I was amazed by the things that he could do. And you're going to hear it in my voice, and you're going to hear me in a more somber tone that you guys that know me and have seen these videos. This is probably going to be the most somber one I do, or one of the most somber ones I do. You'll definitely hear it in my inflection. And fittingly, as the thunder comes out outside, that's what I was pausing for. I thought we might lose electricity. The world lost a little bit of electricity, and the wrestling world lost a little bit of electricity. Just a couple weeks ago, he wrestled his last match against Joey Janela, and he came out afterward and said it's not going to be his last match, which is classic Sabu, and classic every wrestler. Think of how many times Terry Funk retired. That match was an absolute train wreck. It was what it was, but I had to watch it because it's Sabu. And if you weren't there, if you weren't watching ECW in the 90s, or you weren't seeing his tapes of FMW in the 90s, you don't get the full picture. It's a lot like a baseball fan going back and watching Babe Ruth highlights or Wilt Chamberlain highlights for basketball. Or even for some of the younger generation that have the argument of Michael Jordan versus LeBron James. If you were there for Michael Jordan, you would understand that LeBron James is not anywhere on the level. And for those people, and there are more people that claim they were there and seen it than were actually there. A lot of that's through tape trading, and a lot of that's through seeing it afterwards. But if ECW was as popular as the people that say they were there, it would still be in business. Now, that's not to say that ECW didn't revolutionize wrestling. It absolutely did. And one of the main reasons for that is Sabu. Sabu has influenced your favorite wrestlers, your favorite wrestlers' favorite wrestlers. Anyone that's came after Sabu has taken something from Sabu. And I mean that in the most loving way. It's like the first pitcher that threw a curveball, or the first basketball player that did a layup. Everyone after copied them. Sabu is one of those guys that never had the big multi-million-dollar contract, and that's a shame, because he deserved it. I made a whole video about how influential Sabu was, and I'll probably link it down here for you to check out. But he's absolutely that. Sabu, and I'm sorry, I'm pausing to keep myself from crying. I do apologize. Sabu did things that no wrestler ever did before him. And hundreds, if not thousands, of wrestlers have done since. I've said this many times. I could watch ECW and see Sabu do something or Rob Van Dam do something, and the very next week on Monday Night Raw or Monday Nitro, someone was doing that same move that I seen the very first time from Sabu, not even a week later. His style was so uniquely Sabu, while being rooted in the Sheik, while being rooted in the high flyers that came before him, Jimmy Snuka, others, he still made it his own. He was unique. Sabu has said, and I've heard him say this, that he would purposely botch in matches just to give it that little bit extra unbelievability. Or not necessarily unbelievability. Unpredictability is the word I'm looking for here. Sorry again. Normally I would cut that out, but I want you to see this whole process that I'm going through. He is as important, in my opinion, as anyone has been in the last 30 years. He's just as important as the NWO. He's just as important as John Cena, Steve Austin. If you know pro wrestling, and again, it's hard to quantify for you if you weren't there and you didn't see him in his prime. Because when you go back and you watch it, and you look at it and you go, well, this is a guy that everybody says is special. 5 people a night do that on AEW. They didn't back in the 90s. They didn't when Sabu was doing it. He absolutely changed pro wrestling. ECW changed pro wrestling. Sabu was one of the people that changed it. Now, whether you could say that was for the better or for the worse, that's your own opinion. But you can't argue with the fact that he changed it. At the time I'm recording this, I don't know what he passed away from. I don't really care. It could be the worst of worst things, as long as it's not a Chris Benoit situation. I gotta give respect to the man. He is absolutely one of the pioneers. He deserved way more than he got. He deserved to be a multi-millionaire, and he wasn't. He was a guy that had to hang on too long because he never got the big payday that he deserved. He wrestled through a lot of pain and a lot of injuries and gave his all for the wrestling fans and for a business that he loved since he was a kid, being the nephew of the original Sheik, not the Iron Sheik for those of you that don't know. The original Sheik out of Detroit. There's a great book. If you have Spotify, I forget the name, just look up The Sheik. But there's a great book that was put out last year. It's on their audiobooks there. Check it out to get some knowledge of another legend that was underrated, his uncle, the original Sheik. Sabu, aka Terry Brunk, deserves every bit of the flowers he's going to get over these next few days. He deserves every tribute you're going to see on every wrestling show. He's impacted all of them, whether it be AEW, WWE, TNA. Any wrestling show that's on right now has been affected by the career and life of Sabu, aka Terry Brunk. He was one of a kind and absolutely a legend. This is hitting me really tough, especially on the day he passed, which if you're watching this in the future, it's Mother's Day. which is normally a hard day for me anyway because my mother passed away now 22 years ago. And if you have Mother's Day and you think of all the great mothers in the world, and say you love your mother to your mom, give her a call right now if she's still around, because you're going to have the times where you want to say it to her and you can't. And it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking going on social media and seeing all the moms I know and the great gifts that their kids give them, and they deserve it. They absolutely do. But knowing that my mom is not here to get those gifts, it's already a hard day. And then you compound that with a guy, and I know it's entertainment. I don't know Sabu. We're not friends. I may have bumped into him a few times back in the day and maybe said hello or shook his hand. But Sabu, and I know, again, it's hard for people to quantify. Some people look at this and call me a mark or call me whatever. Sabu meant so much to me as a pro wrestling fan, as an ECW fan, as a Sabu fan. It made a hard day that much harder. So again, if your mom's still alive, call her and tell her you love her. If you haven't already, I hope you have. And while you're there, look up some old Sabu matches. Try and look into the legend that he was. What a great, great wrestler, and one of the best, in my opinion, of all time. It's with a heavy heart that I want to say, rest in peace, Sabu. You're one of the best. I just can't anymore. If you're watching this, thank you for watching Heel Heat. And rest in peace, Sabu.